Gospel according to Wanda Lazarus by Lynn Joffe. Chapter 1. Tumult in the Temple. Judea, 33 CE. If we hadn't been following Hadassah's pomegranate all over the known world, we'd never have wound up in Bethany. Lazzy would still be alive, and I'd be mortal. But that's not how the Hamantaschen crumbled. A painted lady flaps her wings and all that jazz. The disciples remember it differently, but they were always going to write their own version anyway. I was there. I saw it all. Not in my present incarnation, but who am I to split shaitel hairs? The Beit Sim started to roll when Rav Yossi and his chevres were invited over for that Last Supper. It was a double whammy, actually. Pesach and Shabbos rolled into one. Martha and I were helping Hadassah boil and bake an exodus of matzo balls. I was never much one for domestic activity and did all I could to wheedle out of the chores in the wide clay-baked kitchen. Normally, the servants would clean up after us. But on Pesach, Hadassah was having no shirking. Scour the scullery, polish the porcelain. On your hands and knees, girl chicks. Seek and destroy any vestige of chametz. No wheat, no rice, no leftover showbread. It all had to go. On Pesach, we're forbidden to put anything in our mouths that rises. Then there's the matter of changing the dishes. One set milchedig, another fleischedig. Hadassah was very proud of her Pesach crockery, handed down through the maternal line since the great trek back from Babylonia, each one adorned with a symbol of the festival: a dandelion, a sprig of parsley, chopped up charosid representing bricks and mortar of the slaves, salt water for tears. All in all, a huge schlep. 12 extra mouths to feed was no mean feast. Our second stepdaddy, Qumran, had done well in the build-up to the festival. He knew how to supply the needs of the flocking pilgrims and set up fruit stands all along the road to Damascus. Palm dates did very well that season. Figs were at a premium. He tripled the cost of olives. But he liked to flutter on the camels, did Qumran, and often returned home in his flagons with no more than a handful of copper leptons and a mild dose of the clap. Still, Hadassah was a social climber, and having the chevres over would up her quarter cred by quite a few notches. No, we improvised ways to stretch her stingy allowance to feed the holy horde, rolled the matzah beitzim smaller, watered down the wine. She tried to pass it off as a miracle, from her lips to Yahweh's ears. Lazzy didn't have to do kitchen duties. He was practicing his shofar in the courtyard with the chickens, while Martha and I had our hands full. I could see him from the window, pursing his clefted lips to the blowhole and wheezing a few breathy pops into the chafed afternoon air. He hadn't quite got the first long tekiah note right. "Will you stop that racket?" Ma moaned from beneath her migraine. "Lazzy, let me show you how it works," I shouted from the scullery. "You're a girl chick. You're not allowed to touch it." "Says who?" I dropped my chametz basket and ambled into the courtyard. "It is written," he wheezed. "The holy horn is forbidden for maidless." "Oh, for fig's sake, Lazzy, give me a chance." "I'll tell Zayda. It's going to be treif if you touch it." "Zayda doesn't have to know," I said. "He's at the temple all week for Pesach. Now hand it over." I grabbed the horn from his protesting grasp and puckered up to the pointy end. "Give it back," wheezed Laz, "or I'm reporting you to the Sandy Bedmen." "Sandy Headmen," I corrected him. "You're the one with the cheder chops, schmeckelface." Lazzy snatched the shofar back and drew breath again. It sounded like the bubbles we sibs blew when we were trying to turn farty blame on each other at the Shabbos table. Then Lazzy's rasping became more laboured, and suddenly he fell to the ground, teeth clenched, eyes rolled back to the whites. His body arched as if a great cord was pulling him up to heaven by his wishbone and then dashing him mercilessly back to earth. "Martha, bring a spoon!" I screamed at my sister. "Milk or meat?" Martha yelled back. "This is no time to quibble. It doesn't matter. He's swallowing his tongue." Martha flung a knedlach ladle through the open door. I wrestled it between my brother's gritted teeth. "Ma, help!" I yelled. Hadassah stood behind the kitchen curtains, immobile.